What is going on, everybody? It's episode 891 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here after a weekend with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. It sounds like it was kind of a long weekend.
It was.
Feels like a long weekend for some reason. How was DC?
DC was fun. DC was good. I mean, I have to get over the ick of being in Washington, DC proper, which is something
you
that
hate it.
It overtakes me. I want to vomit whenever
well,
I'm in
that's
DC.
2 weekends in a row, isn't it?
Yeah. So 2 weekends in a row, and I made a deal with Olivia. I said, I won't complain while we're in DC. This is what I said. I don't know if Olivia's watching right now. Oh, no, I see her in the chat. Olivia says, Brett wearing white. So I said, I will not complain about being in DC if you don't complain about DC drivers. And we both made good on this. So
Wow.
we're good.
They are really crazy there.
They're awful. And that was the thing. I was like, thing is, every time we go there, she's like yelling at the drivers in front of them. And I'm just like, I can't.
I am still not over it. I'm still so pissed that I was driving in DC. I don't even remember when. I think sometime in January, I got a ticket for running a red light. And that never happened.
Yeah.
It never happened. I didn't run a red light. So that is insane. And I had to pay $300.
It was one of you didn't get pulled over. It was like it was a red light camera.
No, but like I literally didn't run a red light though. Yeah. Like it must have been they just give you a ticket if it's yellow. Like I don't know anymore, but I definitely didn't do that. I don't recall anything of the sort, and I had to pay $300 freaking dollars for that. Sorry, we have a 20.
Yeah, read it.
From Shane H. Wilder. Happy Monday, Brett and Mary. I'm on a plane back home. It was great seeing everyone. I think I only missed Mary and Phil, but I did see Mary using my material to get TikTok famous. LOL. I hope y'all enjoy my little parting gifts. Yes, I did post your edit on Instagram and TikTok. No offense or anything really, but it didn't perform very well. I think it's because they like shadow ban anything Alex Jones related.
Oh, maybe. If it had Alex Jones in it, I don't doubt that at all.
You know, maybe I'm thinking like I should just delete it in case they're gonna in case Meta takes action on anything of Alex Jones. That might be a bad idea to post that.
I want to say thank you to Shane H. Wilder for the gifts.
Yes.
That was very nice of him.
Thank you for I believe it's just a little decade of the rosary. That you gave me. So thank you for that.
And I have the pictures that he got us. I might frame one of them and put it up here in the studio. So thank you so much for that. I will make sure to get Phil and Tim their gifts. I'll see Phil on Wednesday at least. I was going to bring it over to Tim's over to him today, but he was like he wasn't working. I think he took the day off. His voice wasn't doing well. Though it would be hilarious if he was like in there recording and you just barge in like Kramer to give him something. Like, see,
do we get to know what it is?
I don't know if he wants that shared or not.
Got it.
But yeah, so again, thank you so much for that. And thank you so much to everyone who made it out for the event over the weekend. If you're watching this channel, a couple of you at least came up and said hello. So if you did come out this weekend and said hi, then hello. And thank you guys so much for coming out for that. So let's get into it. What are we talking about today? We have a bunch to get into. Sydney Sweeney, who's dominated the news cycle now for at least a week. It's like the Epstein files and this. That's all you've got to talk about, apparently. She, on Friday afternoon, actually, just after this show got done with, was outed as a Republican voter, or at the very least being a registered Republican, which I find, it just kind of makes me laugh. I love the idea that she cares so much about the voting process that she wants to be able to vote in midterms.
Well, it was before the election, before the general election last year, reportedly, so she registered. So
we're going to talk about that because she had a movie premiere over the weekend, and then there was all sorts of other ads coming out. There was a Terran Tactical video that was going viral on Friday as well. Yep. So we will talk about that, and that is about the happiest story that we have today because story number 2 is the most depressing thing you guys are ever going to hear in your entire life. If you remember, I believe it was about 2 years ago, we covered the unfolding drama between, she's not an actress, she's a singer, a rapper, Lil Tay, who's been famous since the age of 9. There was all of this unfolding drama with her dad, cutting her dad out of her life, everything. And then she released a music video, which we deemed inappropriate for the age. I thought at the time she was 14. Apparently she was 16. I know this now because on her 18th birthday, this young lady, She set up an OnlyFans and made $1 million in 3 hours because the world is awful.
Because the world is sick. It's truly sickening. And we've seen this happen before. Cash Me Outside, if that rings a bell. It's a weird cycle
they have beef.
Kids go through. Yeah,
they have
do.
beef online. So she copied the blueprint from this other lady. So we're gonna talk about that because it is soul crushing in a way. So we're gonna talk about it. Also, Mary found this thread of women who just hate men. That's what it is. It's just misandry.
They're women who are willingly dating dumb men. And they think that it's charming how dumb their boyfriends are and that they need to teach them very basic facts that all adults you'd think would know.
Don't worry, guys. I will make sure to point out that women get taken for windshield for blinker fluid. So we're gonna be good here.
Oh, that's so true.
Remember that? Remember that one? The video
I do think that some of these are way more in the realm of what should be common knowledge than anything related to cars.
Okay. I mean, cars these days are basically computers. So
it's basic stuff like, you know, you wait for the shower water to warm up before you get in the shower.
Okay.
Type shit.
So we got that. We got a bunch of other stuff. If you're ready to go, we can go ahead. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. So over the weekend, we got the second weekend box office numbers for Fantastic Four First Steps. It was all doom and gloom on Friday as people announced the Friday to Friday box office drop, which was the doomorous number of 80%. But that is not, of course, the actual number from the weekend. It did, however, crater a crazy amount, 66%. This movie fell between week 1 and week 2.
Yep, and Variety reported the Doomer number grossed $11.7 million domestically in its second Friday on the big screen, making for a devastating 80% drop from its debut.
So before we get into the rest of the numbers, this is a matter of framing.
Yes.
Like, nobody was talking about the 70% that Superman fell between Friday to Friday, week 1 to week 2.
Yeah.
But it matters because the Superman box office drop in its second weekend was much lower. It only fell between 53 and 55%, depending on where you were getting your numbers from, which is vastly different than 66%. You want to stay under 60.
I can't pinpoint why, but it seems like the meta for talking about the superhero movies right now is DC is on the up and up and Marvel is flopping.
Well,
even if the numbers for both Superman and Fantastic Four were disappointing.
So it's really funny. I did a video over the weekend, like on my X. Like, I've been making videos for X. Just there's nowhere else to put them, and I'm making them at home, so I can't upload them here.
Yeah.
They don't make any. They'd look really weird if I uploaded them to this channel. And I did a video about this because the number had come out, and I remembered when Batman vs Superman came out, and it fell 69%, and people rightly pointed out that that was a massive drop at that time. But now suddenly everybody wants to kind of use weasel words and tell you why it's not as big of a deal now. And then the rest of the discussion is around the other people are people being like, why are we even talking about this? We should just enjoy the movies, which is, of course, nonsense. Like, it's a matter of discussion for people because it kind of indicates whether movies will be made again.
Yeah.
Like, whether the movie does well or not indicates whether we'll see more of these characters, unless, of course, you're Pedro Pascal, then they just force it down your throat, which is going to happen.
We should just take a moment of silence for all of the hard work that went into Fantastic Four.
They loved it. Have you ever seen?
They worked so hard on it.
Have you ever seen the bingo card of excuses?
Yeah, the bingo card of cope.
It says
but they worked really hard on it.
See, the thing is I'm that person though. Like, I'm the person who does want to say,
okay,
look, they
that's
worked
true
hard
of
on
every movie.
Yeah.
We have another 20 from Corey Anderson. I have completed the last deployment of my career, number 119 degree temps, no more calls to prayer, no more being away from family. Wouldn't change the last 20 years for anything. Glad to be back in the US after the rest of the world.
Wow, congratulations on that. Like, we can now date our show in deployments because I remember when he was leaving for deployment.
Yeah, when was that?
That
Wasn't
was
it?
how long, Corey? How long ago was that when you left for your last deployment? Let us know in the chat.
Congrats and welcome back.
Yeah. So it debuted. Okay, we're back on Fantastic Four here. So it debuted with $117 million. In its sophomore outing, it made $40 million from 4,125 theaters. That is a 66% drop. Heading into the weekend, box office analysts anticipated between 55 and 60%, and that would have been better. Unfortunately, because I did that video at home, I have like 2 pages of notes of like numbers of box office drops and everything like that. The fact of the matter is that Captain America fell far in its second week. Thunderbolts wasn't that far, but it didn't make that much to begin with, so it didn't matter. All of it kind of signals what I think is everyone knows but isn't willing to admit, which is that superhero movies had its time. The ones that end up making $1 billion will play on nostalgia, i.e. Deadpool and Wolverine, which played on the nostalgia of all of the, 20th century Fox movies. And going into the future, people just aren't going to have the same, like you're even if you go back to the legacy characters. My point used to be that they have to go back to the characters that everybody recognizes. Even if you've never read a comic book in your life, you knew who Captain America was. Even if you had never read a comic book in your life, you knew who Superman was.
Sure.
Even the legacy characters, I think, aren't enough to really carry these things forward anymore.
Mean that superhero movies have been supplanted by video game related franchise movies?
That's what it feels like we're heading towards right now, is we're going to end up seeing, I can't get outside of Minecraft doing as well as it did, Mario Brothers doing as well as it did. I'm sure there's at least one other one. FNAF doing as well as it did. It feels like we are on the upswing because look, what was the audience for Minecraft? Yes, it was millennials, but there were a lot of Gen Z there as well. So you have to ask what's going to actually get the younger generations out to the theaters. I don't think that that's superhero movies. I think the hard part, though, is going to be the studios moving away from the idea of making them all TV shows.
Yeah.
And finding a way to put them in theaters. And apparently hiring Jack Black for each and every one of them.
Yeah, I'm guessing that the Zelda movie is going to perform well, especially because of the casting decision they made.
And that will be a millennial audience too, though. Like that'll be a Gen X and millennial audience for Zelda.
Culture Base also followed up with the biggest movies of the summer, and that is first Jurassic World Rebirth.
Hasn't even released in Japan yet.
1 month since its release, 731 million. Superman was second, and Fantastic Four was third.
Yeah.
This was responded to by John Rocha, who said, "Some people won't want to hear this, but it might be time to stop putting all the blame on studios or creatives for underperforming movies. It might be time to start looking at the intelligence level of moviegoers. If a phenomenally stupid film like Jurassic World Rebirth can crush films like Superman and Fantastic Four at the box office, then something might be wrong with all of us and not the studios or the creatives."
That is the most chill cope I've ever heard in my entire life. But do you remember when I've been saying for the last couple of years, people love the slop?
I reject the premise that Superman and Fantastic Four... I reject his premise that Superman and Fantastic Four are somehow inherently more intellectual than Jurassic World Rebirth. It's all slop to me. Yeah. And it's all slop. Like,
but the
objectively.
thing is, but this is a matter of saturation. There is less dino slop than there is skin, like tight slop. Like cape slop.
Yes.
There are less dinosaur movies, therefore the demand will be higher because they don't come out as often.
Although Godzilla -1, if you would count that as dino slop, did really well.
Yeah, but that wasn't lauded as slop. That was lauded as actual artistic filmmaking. And look, the Godzilla Kong franchises all do pretty well that they're still going right now. The fact is people are burnt out on superheroes, and whether you think his take is intellectual or not, in the capitalist world we live in, the audience is not wrong. It is the company's job, it is the creative's job to work together to create something that will get you, the audience, to part with your money. Like literally every day your currency is worth less and less. And it becomes harder and harder to justify spending your money on stuff like this. So if the idea here is that you have to pick one movie over the summer to go and sit down in front of and become a zombie for 2 hours, you're like, you know what? There's less dino slop. I'm going to go see the dinosaur movie before I go see. Again, hasn't come out in Japan yet, so that number is going to jump higher. It's going to make even more money than that. Now, granted, not as much as the Chris Pratt movies did, but it's a matter of saturation.
One of the replies echoed your point, saying the audience is never wrong. The story producers are always to blame if the project fails. If you're blaming the audience, then you've lost the thread. And he said, no block of people, no matter how massive, is, quote, never wrong. That's idiotic to say. Audiences in numerous arenas have been wrong in a myriad of ways for centuries of our Earth's existence. The judgment of human beings from something small like movies to something big like political movements can absolutely be called into question.
No. This is not, it's a transaction. You, the person selling the product, are saying, this is what I have to offer. Please pay me for it. They can't be wrong. They can only decide to buy it or not. Are you insane?
That's different than comparing it to a political movement or a cult. You know, like that's like saying like cults are never wrong. Like that's not the same thing.
Let me reel it back in. Okay, so this is clearly one of those things that happens on X where people, they devolve into making their own talking points and they're not even listening to what the other person has to say. I like waffles.
Oh, so you hate pancakes?
Yes. No. In a transactional relationship where you're selling a movie that costs hundreds of millions of dollars, it is your job to guarantee that whatever story you're selling to people is so good that after its opening weekend, people either want to come back for a second viewing or they speak so highly of it that their friends have to go and see it.
I just don't understand his point that somehow Superman or Fantastic Four is like the epitome of intellectually stimulating cinema. Yeah. Like, that I just reject on its face. Matt Walsh also had a controversial take on the underperformance of Fantastic Four. He said the Fantastic Four are a really stretchy guy, a guy made of rocks, a guy who lights on fire, and a girl who does whatever she does. These are literal characters that a 6-year-old would invent. You just can't keep making movies around these kinds of characters without people getting bored, and that seems to finally be happening. And I just know George Alexopoulos saw this tweet and is somewhere punching the air right now.
Just furious. We love you, G Prime, but I can tell that he did not like this. I'm
still waiting for the debate between Matt Walsh and George Alexopoulos to happen one day. I'd love to see it.
This is a 20.
From Pop Culture Junkie. Having been a film critic, you accept the fact that it's show business, emphasis on business. Blame the audience? That is gigantically moronic.
Yeah. Like, I saw that. I'm like, no. Like, you sell a product, it's your job to get people to pay. That's why 90%, that's why it's the attention economy. They're trying to keep your eyes on the product as long as possible to sell you advertisements.
I think what Matt Walsh is saying is just more reflective of his own tastes than anything. It's a comic book movie. There are plenty of highly performing comic book movies with stupid premise or stupid character story. Like
Deadpool and Wolverine wasn't exactly the highlight of storytelling.
Spider-Man is just a guy who like shoots webs and flies around in the air. Like, that's so dumb. Nobody wants to watch that. Well, that's not true, right?
This is I like this. When I saw this take just before we went live, and I think it is a sobering thing to think about. This is from someone named Dan Wiesenmeyer. Says, here's the hard reality of the MCU. There's no getting the mojo back. What happened between 2008 and 2019 was lightning in a bottle. It was a wonderful ride that cannot and will not ever be replicated. The studio is different. The business is different. The audience is different. Actually, I think the audience is the same. The normies have checked out. So your core audience are always going to show up there. But the normies that don't really care about this stuff are no longer going to feel that pull to go into it anymore. They don't care anymore.
Yeah. But they don't care anymore because Marvel made mistakes with the messaging in their movies, or just because it naturally came to a close?
It came to a close, and then it got oversaturated on Disney Plus, and it became homework. And people are like, I'm going to go watch Skibbity Toilet. I mean, maybe they did. Maybe they didn't do that, but they were like, you know what? I've got other things to do.
I was really surprised when you said that Brad Pitt's highest-grossing movie has been F1. His entire career,
of his entire film catalog.
That's not shocking because of F1. It's shocking just because of how streaming exists now.
It's also true though that he made movies at a time period where the majority of the money he made would likely have been on DVD sales. Like really good on the back end of the deal, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
but it's just surprising because of the way that media is consumed now that that's even possible. And the fact that movie going is less popular objectively than it was in the 90s or 2000s.
Yeah. Which is weird because everybody's watching stuff. It's just that nobody's watching the same stuff.
And they're also watching whatever they watch at home. They're not interested in going to the movies anymore.
Yeah, that's 100%.
So that was
true.
shocking.
All right, it's bad. Look, it's bad news for Marvel. Superman, though it surpassed Man of Steel at the box office domestically, is still a ways behind it in total because of the international numbers. They can spin this crap all they want, but it's not like a 600. Even if it gets to like $650 million, look, I can't say that The Batman making $770 million was meh, and then Superman making $600 million is somehow better. You could maybe make the argument that that could be true because Batman is just a more popular character, but I still think that gone are the days. Look, there are going to be no more Aquaman billion-dollar movies being a character that normies had never heard of and then made $1 billion at the box office. I just don't think that's going to happen. And I think Supergirl, unless something drastically changes and then the trailer ends up wowing everybody, like I don't see it being this huge hit. But we'll have to wait and see. All right, let's move on.
If you're a theater kid, you probably already know this, but for those of you who are not theater kids, I will explain. Jesus Christ Superstar is a musical that debuted on Broadway back in 1971. It is a rock opera story about Jesus, and it's through the perspective of Judas. And they frame Jesus as sort of a cult of personality, and Judas is the only one who sees through the facade, and that's why he betrays Jesus. Well, there has now been a sold-out 3-night run of Jesus Christ Superstar starring Cynthia Erivo as Jesus in the musical, which is the first time that Jesus has been both gender and race swapped.
They usually do one or the other?
The fact that this is the first black queer woman playing Jesus in a musical is seemingly a huge deal to theater kids, and it's a noted significant change in this social and political climate, which was celebrated by all the usual suspects. So now the first videos of the performance are coming out, and I think we should watch this one, which also features Adam Lambert as Judas. Quite the fall from grace for Adam Lambert.
Here we go.
She looks insane.
Okay.
They're great singers.
I was going to say, like, why does it kind of slap, though?
They're great singers. That's not really the problem
Yes.
here. But, I mean, this is kind of a sad moment for Adam Lambert. I'm always going to love, what do you want from me? What do you want from me?
Maybe he does that in the encore.
Okay. But this is gaining significant attention again because back in February, the casting of Cynthia Erivo was hugely controversial. And there were a lot of responses to it saying basically some iteration of Christians have to put a stop to this. Christians have to stand up against this and openly oppose this. They have to do something about it. Mm-hmm. And obviously Christians are not supporting this with their dollar. They're not celebrating it. But what else are they exactly supposed to do is my question. What are Christians supposedly meant to do in response to a musical which openly disrespects their faith?
Christians are kind of like Republicans. They're ineffective at
But if if they were to be effective, what would they do about this?
I mean, look,
genuinely, I have no idea.
I don't.
What is the call to action?
I don't care for the idea of trying to censor this anyways. I think that what you do, like what you would do on this channel is the most powerful thing you can do. In if you're going to operate under the premise that it's a free country and they're allowed to make this disrespectful art all they want, is to grow a platform even bigger and counter signal whatever they're doing to allow them their freedom of speech and you your ability to make more of an influence with your own words and your own ideas.
Well, I myself am not a free speech absolutist.
Well, I didn't say absolutist. But
in my ideal world, actually, yeah, this would be censored. And if that were possible, I would agree with that decision. However, I think you're probably right that in realistic terms, the best response is to just speak out against it at equal volume.
I think that's
what we're doing.
Yeah.
And that's what I did when the casting was announced. I think that this musical would be disrespectful to Christianity regardless of who they cast as Jesus. Even if they didn't gender and race swap Jesus, it would still be hugely offensive because of the premise of the story. And there were a lot of theater kids who were posturing at the time of the announcement saying, oh my gosh, these people don't even know Jesus Christ Superstar. They're so uncultured.
That was me until you informed me of what it was at that time.
So it puts a blasphemous spin on the gospel through the eyes of Judas Iscariot, where he's calling Jesus's divinity into question, and it frames the early Christian church as a personality cult around Jesus. We know what it's about. It doesn't need further pseudo-intellectual explanation. But the response to it about Christians needing to do something, I found really interesting, because what is the call to action there? The response is always, they would never get away with this if they made Muhammad Superstar. They would never get away with this if they did this about any other religion, which is true only because Muslims would literally blow everyone up. Yeah. So are they implying that the proper response from Christians would be terrorism and violence?
It's political posturing.
It seems a little bit underhanded to kind of imply that
it's like a Fed saying, hey, do something about it.
Christians should go full Charlie Hebdo. I don't agree with that, and Christians don't agree with that because of the foundation of Christian beliefs. That is not how you evangelize.
So then you can tell me the answer here, because I don't know, given that I'm not religious. But the idea here is, if you believe that your religion is superior due to your tolerance, then the idea is we've tolerated enough, it's time to stop. Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, I find that really deceptive and sinister.
It feels like a Fed being like,
yes,
hey, do something about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Do something about it.
I agree. I think it's really strange.
Hi, could you help me saw off my shotgun? That's what it feels like to me. It feels like Feds telling you to go do something about it, so that they can create the terrorism they want to use as an excuse to stop you from being able to pray freely.
And every time that something like this happens, where Hollywood or the entertainment industry in general disrespects Christianity, be it the opening ceremony at the Olympics last year, or Jesus Christ Superstar, or the Conclave movie, there are a lot of, perhaps they would call themselves cultural Christians. There are a lot of Muslims, and there are a lot of atheists and agnostics and irreligious people responding to it with more outrage than Christians. And I don't even think that's the correct response. And I find it really strange and suspicious that every time this happens, you see the same pattern. They're telling Christians, this is how you're supposed to react, with outrage, with fury. And there is certainly a place for righteous anger in response to these situations. But they're not suggesting righteous anger in the interest of justice. They're suggesting that the proper response to this is the Muslim response to this.
I think the sad thing is that we are in the best age to push back on it now, especially with people being able to build their own platforms and their own audiences, right? Gone are the days where somebody who was a devout Catholic or a devout Christian had to worry about whether the network that they worked for would allow them to speak on something like this. Now there are hundreds, if not thousands, I guess there were not even hundreds, there are thousands, I'm sure, millions of devoted Christians and Catholics who have large platforms who can speak out about something like this. And no, it's not going to have that, I guess, that dopamine rush that comes from the anger from when you say that you need some level of righteous fury beyond just speaking out against it. But that's the way that you do it. That's the way that you do it in an age where people seemingly would want you to do something stupid and then use it against you.
Right, exactly.
Like, they're like, off the top of my head, I can think of several Catholic or Christian influencers with massive platforms that I'm sure you know, or all of these people that you know, that could all speak out about something like this and reach a lot of people.
Right, definitely. And I do think that's the proper way to go about it.
Who are the two biggest like influencers that you can think of in the Catholic space?
Gosh, that's difficult. Probably Bishop Barron is the most famous Catholic influencer. It's so weird to call a bishop an influencer, but he is. He is a huge influence, and he has a lot of non-Catholic following. Yeah. So he has a huge voice, a huge platform. Then the idea would be to get someone like him to speak about something like this. And I bet he has. He does plenty of cultural commentary in that vein. Yep. And another proper response to this, aside from just vocal opposition on social media, is creating something that interests more people than Jesus Christ Superstar on Broadway. And that's what a Catholic like Mel Gibson is doing. He is creating the sequel to Passion of the Christ, which is currently filming in Italy right now as we speak. Are they going to de-age Jim Caviezel? I don't know what they're going to do, but this is the post that he put up in late July announcing that the Resurrection of Christ is going into production. It's already in production right now in August. And then the first response I see says, "Brother, make it a trilogy. Passion of the Christ, Resurrection of the Christ, and Return of the Christ." To which I say, let's not. Let's not do that. Please, no. I'm already worried about how this sequel is going to turn out. Yeah. Even though there is obviously basis for it in the scriptures, let's not make a fan fiction movie about Christ's second coming. Like, let's just maybe leave it at resurrection. Like, I'm picturing him like he kind of he appears out of the cave and it says he's back, and this time it's personal. But in objective metrics, I am sure Mel Gibson's sequel to Passion of the Christ is going to interest more people and make more money than this 3-night showing of this musical that normal people have never heard of. Yeah, it's not like anybody. I had no idea what it was until you told me the last time we talked about this. Like, I saw Dom Lucre say, "This is why he tagged somebody and says, 'This is why we need you to save New York. Broadway's woke infection is spreading across the nation.'" Look, Broadway's been woke since as long as Broadway has existed. Broadway is Broadway. Yes, it's Broadway. That's exactly what it's always been. Yeah, and I don't think that it's accurate to say that their influence is spreading across the nation. This is a very isolated incident that only interests theater kids. What you can picture is like this play is like right next door to the Luigi musical, and they can play in tandem. And the Luigi musical is expanding, isn't it? It's yeah, it might get a national run now. Yeah. Because people are insane. Yes, they are. Hold, please. Thank you. Just in time. Hold on. Justin Bieber just launched It's Not Clocking to You merch. He just posted a picture in it. I like that he has kind of taken the "it's not clocking to you" phrase and ran with it, even though people were using it to make fun of him. Yeah. I like that. All right, let's move on. Well, we can once the lights are done. Okay. So last week, when the internet was all abuzz with controversy about Sydney Sweeney's American Eagle ad campaign, there was one portion of the discourse that we did not address about Which Way Western Man, comparing Sydney Sweeney to this anonymous Japanese businesswoman wearing office attire. Let's show the side by side. and it's asking Western man to pick a side.
Do you pick
Sydney Sweeney in jeans or this random Japanese woman and nobody knows who she is?
Nobody knew who she was.
And this blew up. It now has 37 million views and impressions.
A crazy amount of views.
And actually, the random Japanese so-called salary woman, this is what they're calling her, won the poll in the replies.
Here's the thing, though. Like, there is no such thing as a fair poll most of the time on X because you have an audience that's courted one direction.
Yes.
So one of your answers is always going to be preferable.
Now, I'm not sure what to make of that, but now the Japanese woman who went viral has discovered her own virality and
She's like, I'm
responded to it. Apparently, she is an actual businesswoman in Japan who once was an actress and the member of some pop group. I don't know.
I'm sorry. The whole used to be an actress thing, this reeks of PSYOP.
It's super weird. This is a YouTube video that she posted on her new channel, and she introduced herself.
She's even got the she's even so new to it that she hasn't gotten rid of the CapCut logo.
Yep.
Hello everyone, I'm Sao. Thank you for watching this video right now. Over the past few days, my face has been spreading all over the X worldwide, so thank you so much for that. So I decided to start a YouTube channel. My first video might be a Q&A style one, maybe. But if there's not much interest, I might just give up. Thanks for...
Okay, I'm sorry. Can I just point out a few things?
Yeah.
There's a deceptive amount of editing going on in this video between speeding up the video, the light audio track with the K-pop in the background, the graphics with the emojis, the tonal shifts. This isn't something she just, unless she's like an editor in her spare time. Somebody did this for her.
We're just getting a little. We're getting a little conspiratorial because this seems like it was planned, and then she made an X account.
Of course.
She now has, let's see, 338,000 followers on X. And also, she has launched an Instagram with over 300,000 followers as well. And she tweeted, "Let me introduce myself. My name is Sao. By day, I work as an office lady." That is so weird. Like, what do you mean you work as an office lady? Is that a job in Japan?
Yeah.
And on the side, I'm also active as a model and actress. Until earlier this year, I was part of an idol group, which is not named. Tomorrow, I'm planning to upload a YouTube video. Hope you'll be there for me. I've read all your warm messages. Thank you so much for all the love and support.
Nobody who has 300-some thousand followers has read all the messages.
And her bio just says office lady actress.
Somebody in the chat says it doesn't look like the same woman.
Well, I mean, they are known for editing their photos a lot in Asia. And also, this was the original Instagram post from which it originated. I wanted to show that.
What are the chances that when making the video, she's wearing the exact same thing she was wearing in the...
It's a costume.
This is all... I don't know what it is, if Japan is planning D-Day 2 Electric Boogaloo or what's going on right now. This is a PSYOP.
Show the Instagram post here. This is a slideshow. This is where the original photo came from. And in the third photo, you can see her posing next to a logo for the company at which she allegedly works, which is called Takeda Design and Manufacturing Co.
Just call it a CIA front, will you?
But when I looked into it, it says Takeda is a Japanese pharmaceutical company.
Right.
So we've got international big pharma interests behind Sao as a spokesperson. It's all very weird to me. Something's fishy about this.
Like, is this,
I don't know what.
Wait, is this Japan's version of a tech girly in America who's paid to just go and drink Starbucks?
I pick out my cute little outfit, and then I go pick up a matcha on the way to work. My job as an office lady.
Look, I'm not saying it's a PSYOP, but it's a PSYOP.
It's totally a PSYOP. I don't know the nature of it yet, but it's not all that it seems to be on the surface, that's for sure. And you also alerted me to...
I don't know what the PSYOP is, though.
No, we are just as clueless as all of you. So if any of you have a theory as to what's really going on here and who this woman is, please tell us. You also alerted me to this new trend.
This is a new PSYOP that's
from
going
China.
on. That's China trying to make America sympathize with them by making funny racist memes.
It says, this is how a Chinese factory amusingly mocks the West while selling us cables. The whole world sees us as a bunch of weirdos calling each other racists and phobes while producing absolutely nothing.
Hi, I'm racist. I'm homophobic. I'm fatphobic.
I'm Stefan. I have the biggest charging cable factory in China. We have more than 3,000 designs and you can put your logo on. If you need to import any charging cables from China, send us message and follow up with the factory.
I wonder if he's got like a workaround for tariffs.
So, they're making fun of American wokeness, but I'm probably gonna just go with the idea that these workers were given like phonetic scripts and they don't know what any of these words mean, which is kind of sad.
I think it's just CCP propaganda.
They're like getting roped into making propaganda for the CCP and they don't know what any of these words are. I hope that they don't know. Yeah, really strange stuff going on.
In the
I don't like the globalized internet.
In the chat, Hugo Tacticool says those cables have built-in spyware.
This is freaking me out.
Very likely true that there is built-in spyware on all of those. Look, I don't have a solid idea about what the PSYOP is, but likely something very important is being distracted from right now because of this lady.
Yeah,
and I don't know what that even has to do with Sydney Sweeney.
This Takeda pharmaceutical company in Japan is running some sort of guerrilla marketing campaign on Westerners. For what reason? I don't know. This is probably just an acting job for her.
Yeah.
If she is an actress, as we're led to believe.
Yes, this lady is distracting us from some very important worldwide event that's going on right now.
Super weird.
It's super weird. But I mean, but that's also like it kind of hits this this sweet spot for the internet, which is like the random moment of virality, which can come from anyone at any time. And I think that the novelty of it is that it could happen to anyone, much in the way that happened with Hawk Tuah before she became Hawk Tuah.
Yeah.
Like one person, now it doesn't have to be for something vulgar, but somebody goes viral for something completely innocuous, and then they get launched into the stratosphere and get 300,000 followers on X, and there's not even confirmation that it's the same person. And it's just a great way for some company to make a bunch of money off of ad revenue by selling eyes on the prize for whatever they're going to have on their channel. Because she can monetize the X account. The YouTube account can be monetized, can be just bombarded with shorts that have literally no context whatsoever because everybody's attached to the name now and nobody even knows whether it's the same lady that's in that photo. At Takeda, whatever CIA front that was.
Well, this is why one of our favorite meme accounts, Cities by Diana on Instagram, posts all of these parody videos about glycine manufacturing on Instagram because these Chinese manufacturing firms actually are posting propaganda on social media for English speakers, and none of us are sure why.
I don't know.
If it's some kind of intimidation tactic, I don't know. But Sal, we're watching you.
We've got our eyes.
We've got
on
our
you.
eye on you and your agenda.
I don't know what it would be. I don't know what it would be if the idea here is that, like, is there like a Japanese version of Logan Paul where she can end up on his podcast network?
Maybe.
Is there
I feel like goes against
I guess
everything.
Jake Paul is the Japanese Logan. Or Logan Paul is the Japanese Logan Paul after what he did.
I think being an obnoxious IRL streamer goes against everything that Japanese people value in their culture. So maybe not, but
like I'm just I've got my eyes on Sal, and I'm just not gonna let this happen on American soil, whatever it is.
Sal is sus.
All right. What would you like to see? Cringe or cute? Oh, actually, guys, before we do that, could you guys please go ahead and submit your pets for cute of the day? I'm running low and I need to have your pets on the channel. So make sure to tag me at Brett Dasovic on X with a picture of your pets and use the hashtag PCCPets so that I see it and can go search for it, and we will get them featured here. But what would you like to see, cringe or cute of the day?
Well, with that, I think it's appropriate to start with cute.
Okay, we will start with cute of the day. This one is from Jiggle With Me. This is Roxy. She's a dangler. Yeah, she's literally dangling off there. That's adorable.
Very cute.
So now I can give a cat update. All 3 cats spend more so we now permanently leave the door open. All 3 cats spend time in the same place, and poor Chloe is just constantly bothered by Mocha. Or I'm sorry, by Toast.
By Toast.
Toast just wants to hang out, just comes and sits across from her. And Chloe is like, leave me alone, rolling her eyes at Toast, who just wants to hang out.
They'll be friends eventually.
I would like to
I think
hope
that
so.
Chloe will surrender.
I would like to hope so. All right, let's do cringe of the day.
This is another one from Genius.
Okay.
It's just a treasure trove of cringe. I don't even know the context for this, by the way. It's just,
okay.
Yeah.
And my little frame and my sweet little girl voice, it exudes something in people that is extremely passionate and tantalizing. And I swear to God, all your men fantasize about me and probably wonder what it's like to be with someone who is as small as I am.
Yeah, I have no idea what this is about. I don't know who this
my
is.
small breasts.
Yeah.
I want to know
What?
where she got the Mercedes hood ornaments.
Yeah, Etsy.
Okay. Well, fellas, if she's wearing automobile hood ornaments for earrings, consider that a red flag.
It's very demure.
No, it's not.
She's demure and cutesy.
All right, let's get started.
So I dished the hot goss to Brett just on Friday last week that Sydney Sweeney is allegedly a registered Republican in the state of Florida. And ever since then, the rumor was circulating online and got confirmed by BuzzFeed and Yahoo. They verified that Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican. And ever since people found out about this confirmed information, they have been losing their ever-loving minds. Now, first off, I just want to say I'm not surprised. Are you surprised?
Yes.
You're surprised by this?
I'm surprised she cares enough.
Okay. I'm just not surprised given the fact that she doesn't talk about politics and her upbringing. She was raised by a right-wing family in Idaho. Everyone remembers when she posted photos from her mother's birthday party. She has family members wearing Blue Lives Matter shirts and joke MAGA spoof hats. You know, she's family members with people who are Republican and was probably raised with those values in some sense. And she doesn't talk about politics. If there's any celebrity that doesn't talk about politics, you can pretty safely assume that they lean to the right at the very least. So I'm not shocked to learn this information about Sydney Sweeney, but a lot of people were because she first, made a name for herself as an actress in a lot of indie prestige television drama shows that are mostly watched and enjoyed by leftists. I believe her first role that she initially got known for on TikTok mainly is in a show called Everything Sucks.
Yeah.
Remember that?
I didn't watch it.
And then she was on Euphoria, and then the rest is history. But yeah, this is huge news for Twitter stans everywhere who are deeply offended to learn.
It's not that I find it hard to believe that she carries, I guess, Republican values. What does that even mean in 2025?
That's what
But what shocks me enough is that she cares enough about it to register for a party. I actually giggle at the idea of her being like, I really got to get out there for the midterms.
My first question was, if you learn that a person is a Republican, what can you ascertain about what they believe? Really nothing.
It's
really nothing. But
if a Republican is just a Democrat going the speed limit, meaning that we're going to balloon the budget, we're going to ruin everything in the country just at a slightly slower pace, like what does that even mean in 2025? Sure. Like the Republican Party is fairly fractured right now anyways.
I agree. But on the flip side, you can ascertain more about a person from the demographic that they're in and the fact that they're a registered Republican. So a woman being a registered Republican, that communicates more. And also the fact that she is a woman in the 18 to 34 age range and a registered Republican, that does make her a statistical anomaly.
Yes, she is.
So that actually does communicate more about her worldview than just any random person being a registered Republican does.
I guess the thing that would fall in line for me would be that she's very business minded. So my guess is she's like that classic story of the person who's like, I'm socially liberal and fiscally conservative. She presented her parents with a 5-year business plan so that she could move to California and be an actor. She has strategically picked out all of the branding that she wants as she works towards becoming an influential producer as well as an actor. She seems to be very focused on making her money. And perhaps the idea is that she wants to be able to buy another mansion and just pay lower property taxes, or maybe she's just a huge fan of Ron DeSantis's off-the-rack Lucchese's. I don't know. But the idea that you would bother to register tells me that she cares enough about it to go beyond just skimming.
She probably voted for Trump is the reality. And she does have her primary residence in Florida, which speaks volumes as a Hollywood actress. And I think that she knew this information was probably going to get publicized eventually because, of course, these records are publicly available.
It seems like a mistake. If I'm speaking purely from a business perspective, for somebody who seems to be so calculated in her movements, in her choices, to choose the industry that she works in and then register as a Republican, which is going to draw the ire of plenty of people in that industry. It seems like a huge misstep to me, given the fact that she seems very, very good at navigating the waters of the business side of the industry. But there is very little, at least, unless somebody can tell me what it is, maybe I'm completely wrong here, there's very little to be gained in registering as a Republican for her industry, given the downsides of it. Like, is the idea here that being a registered Republican allows her to, is Florida one of the states that you have to be a registered party member to vote in the midterms, or to vote in the primaries? Like, do they have to, like, is that why she's doing this, so that she can vote in a primary?
To be clear, she registered as a Republican as of August 2024, which meant she probably registered to vote in order to vote for Trump.
So she registered, but she doesn't have to specify party.
But she did.
That's what I'm saying. Why?
Yeah,
it's a bad choice. I'm just saying
I don't know if it's a bad choice, because being a Trump supporter is just not, it doesn't make you the pariah that it once did. Yeah. And I think that she's reached a level of fame and notoriety at this point where it actually can't hamper her opportunities as much as it would have in the 2010s.
Yeah, but if they had lost the election, this gone the other way, it could have been very bad for her. Yeah. All I'm criticizing is whether it was a smart thing to say business. It's an open secret in Hollywood that if you don't talk about politics, you're very likely a conservative or a Republican, given whatever you think the term conservative means.
I am anxious to find out what she'll say when she inevitably is asked about this in a media interview. One person who is elated to find out that Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican is Trump himself. He was alerted to this news on the tarmac, and here's what he had to say.
Let's listen to this.
That who was?
Sydney Sweeney. She's like a very hot actress right now.
She's a registered Republican?
Yes.
Oh, now I love her ad. Is that right? Is Sydney Sweeney? You'd be surprised at how many people are Republicans. That's what I wouldn't have known, but I'm glad you told me that. If Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican, I think her ad is fantastic. Okay, thank you very much.
He also followed this up on Truth Social saying, and he misspelled her name, oops.
That's even funnier
Sydney
somehow.
Sweeney, a registered Republican, has the hottest ad out there. It's for American Eagle, and the jeans are, quote, flying of the shelves. Go get him, Sydney. Also misspelled again. On the other side of the ledger, Jaguar did a stupid and seriously woke advertisement that is a disaster. The CEO just resigned. The company is in turmoil. Shouldn't they have learned a lesson from Bud Light? Also misspelled, which went woke and essentially destroyed in a short but very woke campaign the company. The market cap destruction has been unprecedented, billions of dollars lost. Or just look at woke singer Taylor Swift. Ever since I alerted the world as to what she was by saying on Truth that I can't stand her. So he's pitting Taylor Swift and Sydney Sweeney against each other, vying for his approval. I'm just so over it. It's like, why does this need to be discourse? Sydney Sweeney's a Republican. I don't think anyone should be jumping for joy about it because she's an entertainer. It doesn't matter, and it doesn't communicate as much as people think about her actual views, her actual values, her beliefs. And now, like, we're seeing posts like this. Breaking, Sydney Sweeney appears in new Hey Dude ad wearing a tight one-piece swimsuit and a cowboy hat. Liberals' heads are going to explode, okay?
I mean, if that was true, it would have nothing to do with the tight outfit and the cowboy hat. It would have to do with her being white, I guess. Because it's not like liberals have anything wrong with this.
The
You can take the dude out of the country. You can't take the country out of the dude.
What is Hey Dude Country?
Wish you were here.
It says that Hey Dude Country is an ever-expanding storytelling platform launched by the footwear brand Hey Dude in June 2025. So she's one of their ambassadors.
Liberals hating this would have everything to do with her being white, because if Beyonce did this ad campaign, they would call it awesome.
Right.
They would love that.
And then there was another video of Sydney Sweeney shooting at a shooting range called Terran Tactical, which is popular amongst a lot of covert conservatives in Hollywood.
A lot of the movies that get made today, the producers and the directors send them to Terran Tactical for firearms training.
Yes, but a lot of them also go there for hobby purposes.
I did not expect this.
The John Bernthal videos here and the Keanu Reeves videos here are all great.
Hey, eyes up here.
So maybe she's in this new movie called Americana, which
I don't know if that's what this is from.
Maybe that's why she was there, is to train for that.
No, like,
for that
I mean, if
movie.
these clips are new, then it's likely for something that's going into production later.
Right.
So.
Maybe we don't know yet. Yeah. I also wanted to mention, since we didn't actually dedicate a discussion to this, that American Eagle responded and doubled down on the Sydney Sweeney ad, saying that it was and always is about the jeans. We'll continue to celebrate how everyone wears their American Eagle jeans with confidence their way. Great jeans look good on everyone. And a liberal responded to this saying Bud Light did a 15-second Instagram story with a trans person, they're referring to Dylan Mulvaney, one time, and conservatives boycotted it for a year. And I think this is being pointed out as a way to galvanize the left into a boycott against American Eagle, which is not going to actually happen.
I mean, you'd have to actually wear American Eagle beforehand to boycott it.
And they're trying to say, oh, look at how the conservatives overreacted to this one throwaway video of Dylan Mulvaney. It's so ridiculous. We should actually show as much fervor for our ideology as conservatives can when they boycotted Bud Light in 2022. And this isn't remotely similar, obviously, but there was then another post from Ollie London saying the woke era is over. These are the latest ad campaigns for Arby's, Dunkin', and American Eagle. And that was also featuring the actor from The Summer I Turned Pretty, where he was referencing genetics. And
the Arby's one was like the pro WNBA Sophie Cunningham or something. Like I showed that to Mary like last week, and she's like, "It's got to be fake, right?" It's like, yeah, who the hell would advertise Arby's? I mean, I would, but they're not going to pay me $1 million to advertise Arby's.
So another Twitter leftist said, "Ending the woke era. We have the gay guy from the Incest Brother series." They're referring to The Summer I Turned Pretty. Yeah. An actress from a show about doing heroin in high school, and the first girl who we don't quite know yet. And they're saying that conservatives are incorrect to mark this as a milestone in the battle against wokeness because all of the people listed are woke and they're not open conservatives. And I kind of agree with that take. I think that the overreaction and the desperation from the right to name something as a W is kind of giving me secondhand embarrassment. And there was a really poignant quote in the replies. It's a G.K. Chesterton quote. He said, "Even when the revolutionist might himself repent of his revolution, the traditionalist is already defending it as part of his tradition. Each new blunder of the progressive becomes instantly a legend of immemorial antiquity for the snob." And I think that's kind of the response that we're seeing from the right at the moment.
Yeah.
Until Sydney Sweeney comes out swinging for traditional values.
Which is never going to happen because she does not have traditional values.
Yeah.
Again, you can be a Republican and just want lower taxes and that's it. And that's all you care about.
Yeah.
You care about money.
And there are
which is
plenty
right
of
in line
Republicans
with
like that.
yeah, and that's fine. It's not like it matters. It's not like the Republicans are all that effective at that anyways. Really the left loses because they're so poisoned from within and awful. They don't know how to coalition build anymore because they hate men and they hate white people so much that they have no way of actually, formulating a coherent platform anymore. Like when Republicans lose, it's always their match to lose because they should win every time given how fractured the Democratic Party is these days. But like I was watching, I did a video over the weekend about Stephen A. Smith responding to Michelle Obama, who said that sports are like reality TV for men. And now, again, I'm kind of developing a theory on top of it, but what I'm saying is that Michelle Obama represents the Democratic Party of old, which is like what kind of formed out of the Obama administration, which became this man-hating, white people-hating, awful party of people. And Stephen A. Smith, who to his credit, I think is who they should be running in 2028, who's criticizing both sides and seems to have at least a front of logical thought behind him. And they're not going to go his direction. They're going to keep going the other direction because they don't know how to detach themselves from that ideology.
Right.
And Sydney Sweeney's belief system is very representative of what every Republican Hollywood would have been 20 years ago. Probably socially liberal and fiscally conservative enough to vote on it.
We've seen a lot of examples of people on the left trying to course correct their rhetoric, and every time they attempt to do so, they get torn apart. I think a lot of Twitter stans are getting slapped in the face with the harsh reality that in real life, people don't end friendships and business relationships over politics.
No, I thought it was really funny. So there was the video of like them, Sydney Sweeney, Hunter Schafer, and all of these people at karaoke. There was another picture of like all of them but Sydney Sweeney, and they were just like at a table talking. And the quote in the post said like, they're talking shit about Sydney Sweeney behind her back. They would love. They would love that. The Twitter person would love that to be true because they would love everybody else to be as miserable as they are.
The headline reads, Euphoria stars Sydney Sweeney, Jacob Elordi, Maud Apatow, and Hunter Schafer were spotted hanging out yesterday. And the first response I saw from a Twitter stan account said, "Why are they hanging out with Republican Sydney Sweeney?" Because they're co-workers. They're co-workers and they're probably also friends. And in real life, these things aren't of cataclysmic importance.
Nope, not in the real world.
Especially when everyone involved can benefit from being associated with Sydney Sweeney because she's more famous than the rest of them.
Yep.
I also wanted to, before we close out this topic, show a video of Sydney Sweeney from back in 2021. I think this is a long time before she refined her public image and her brand, when for the most part her following was still female dominated and also left dominated. She was responding to people who were being mean to her online and the hate comments and the cyberbullies. This was her posture back then compared to now.
And I would never actually do this, like ever. But I think it's really important for people to see how words actually affect people. And I know everyone says like you can't read things and you shouldn't read things, but like I'm a fucking person. I'm just sitting here with my dog Tank watching HGTV wearing my Stuggy, like I don't know. people need to be nicer on social media. 'Cause it's really fun.
Now she's gonna be like $100 bill going.
Yeah.
I have this new contract for $10 million.
She's clearly reconsidered how she approaches the online discourse, and for the most part, the best response is to not say anything at all. One of the responses said, when she was being compared to Zendaya and hailed as their Nazi princess, she was mute. But when those same men started calling her mid and overrated when she got buff for a movie no one watched, she made a whole speech on Instagram talking about how looks don't matter. I think this is just showing that Sydney Sweeney has put on a brave face, or she actually just has grown as a person and as an adult who can handle these attacks over time.
Yeah.
Compared to 2021, she is a totally different person, and I think she is wizened up to the amount of backlash that she receives as a public figure.
I agree. Let's move on to some super chats.
Okay, we've got a 20 from Grunmeister. The IWC has lost their mind over Brock Lesnar being brought back to the WWE. The fact that people are actually going full outrage over stuff that doesn't affect them on a personal level is crazy. I need more beer for this.
Yeah, IWC is Internet Wrestling Community. And yeah, so I watched the clip of Brock's return last night. I know that WWE canceled their post, I guess they don't call them pay-per-views anymore. They call them PLEs, Premium Live Events. They canceled their post-PLE media scrum because they knew what was going to happen. If you don't know, Vince McMahon, who is going through a whole court case with this woman named, I believe, Janelle Grant, that involves sex trafficking, and Vince was apparently, allegedly offering Janelle Grant up as like a reward to people in the office. And he apparently tried to entice Brock Lesnar to re-up a contract by offering her to him. And from what I understand, Brock never met this woman in person. Brock never had any communication with her. But there was also like personalized content being made and sent to people. I don't have the lawsuit in front of me, but I do remember those facts from it. Brock is in the amended complaint named in the lawsuit, but not a defendant in the lawsuit. I believe it's Vince McMahon in WWE. And he got a huge reaction at the event. And everyone online went absolutely insane because earlier in the week was when I posted that video of Triple H going to the White House I believe he was there for a signing that Trump did, reinstating like a presidential fitness exam or something that had been since squashed. And then he did his whole entrance outside of the. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. They even put the Motorhead theme over the top of it, and I knew that the reaction was going to be swift from the not from the general public, from the internet. But Triple H has always said, the internet is not real life, but he hasn't done well from everything that I've seen. Again, I don't watch like wrestling anymore, but I listen to podcasts. From everything that I've been told, he has not handled the questions about Vince McMahon very well, which is very difficult given that he's married to the boss's daughter. He's not the boss anymore, but he's married to Vince's daughter, and it's a whole thing. And I don't know, the person I feel weirdest about honestly, is John Cena, who only has like 9 dates left in his farewell tour for the company, and only 4 or 5 of them are American dates. And I know him and Lesnar have history, but given the state of Brock's view, the way people see him, it seems weird that they would have him work with him when they're trying to send Cena out on this high note. But from everything I know, John Cena is one of those people who claims that he never tried to intervene and say, like, I want to work with this guy, I want to work with this guy. He would get his marching orders from the company and go to work. And he's also been an ardent defender of Vince McMahon because Vince McMahon was his guy for like 20 years. And he's kind of been vague with his comments about the Vince McMahon scandal, but just always said, from what I understand, that he's grateful for all the opportunities that he's had in life because of Vince McMahon. So it feels weird that given there's a whole host of people that Brock could be, or that Cena could be working with, and that Brock could be working with, you know, just them not doing the media scrum tells me that they knew that this was going to get this reaction. But my guess is TKO, which is the company that now owns WWE, is like, okay, I guess it's a, what did Solomonster say? It's like a break glass in case of emergency. You bring Brock Lesnar back. So I don't know. It's a whole thing. You probably do need more beer for it.
Brian Bledsoe said, no wonder she was doing all these ads and bathwater soap. She knew once she's added as a Republican, her Hollywood career will take a nosedive. I disagree. I don't think that she's going to lose out on opportunities in Hollywood because of this news coming out.
Yeah, okay, so here's the other thing. Like, we do live, like, remember, she's also working hard to become a producer behind the scenes. Sylvester Stallone is friends with Trump. Like, posts pictures with Trump, goes to Mar-a-Lago, not afraid of being open about it. His career is flourishing right now. Tulsa King is one of the biggest things on Paramount Plus. Season 3 is coming out. His family has a reality show. Like, there is just, like, I think the difference is the ones who are just not apologetic about it. And she's not even that far. It's not like she's posting pictures with Donald Trump.
No.
Like, this won't be the end of her career, but it did to me seem like a needless risk, given that, like, she doesn't need to register to vote for him or to vote for Republicans. It just seemed like a weird choice to make. That's all.
Adam said the only answer to the poll should be yes. I asked if you are a registered Republican because I was just curious how much of the people watching are Republican voters. It looks like it's 60%. What is it?
55% say yes, they are.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's
I didn't expect it to be, you know, the vast majority actually.
I wouldn't say that, like, it's not like you want to vote for like dumb leftists, but it's not like a ton is getting done, it feels like. But maybe
I'm certainly no simp for the Republican Party. I think there was a lot of simping for the Republican Party going on when the Sydney Sweeney headline came out.
I think that's like when I was reading like the stuff that Stephen A. Smith is saying about politics, like it just reinforces what I already believe, which is like all the left has to do is like find one person who's not racist and insane and say like the most boilerplate 90s like, you know what, you know, they need to pay their bills and they need to afford groceries and you're not a bad person for this or that. Like literally that's all they need to do is somebody who's not going to tell you that you're awful because of the color of your skin or because you're a dude.
They're just not willing
and
to
they're
go
just
there.
Not willing to do that. Like, it's sad.
Shane H. Wilder said, you're very welcome, and Mary, consider the Memento Mori rosary a birthday gift. It was made by monks, although I don't think they handmade the skull. That's okay. I think it's cool. Dingus Khan of Gongolia said, why are tins of Zin like roulette? Some I can't even taste. Some are so strong they make me gag.
Yeah.
I've never noticed that.
Is that not something you've ever, like, they don't taste different from, like,
they're all the same
to
to me. I don't know where you're getting your Zins. It's been pretty reliable for me.
Let's hold off on the rest. I went long on that first answer. Let's move on.
Nearly a decade ago now, there was a child influencer introduced to the world under the moniker Lil Tay. She was a foul-mouthed flexer, a supposed child rapper posing with stacks of cash, and she seemed to be recorded by some kind of manager, possibly her older brother, that came up with this persona for her. And in case it's been a while since you were reminded of her existence, I think we should show a little throwback to when she was only 9 years old. This was what her social media content looked like at the time.
Hold on, it's loading.
Message to all y'all broke ass haters. Y'all ain't doing it like Lil Tay. This is why all y'all fucking haters hate me, bitch. This shit cost me $200,000. I'm only 9 years old. I ain't got no license, but I still drive this sports car, bitch. Your favorite rapper ain't even doing it like Lil Tay.
It'd be hilarious if she actually drove the car.
So obviously at the time, a lot of people were saying, where are her parents? What's going on? Like, why is she allowed to be posting all of this? Why is she allowed to be speaking like this?
And likely fake money, by the way. Likely not real money.
What is going on behind the scenes? If everyone found it really creepy. She was obviously being exploited. No 9-year-old should know these words or should know how to imitate some like rapper or flexer on social media. She shouldn't even be exposed to social media, let alone speaking in the way that she was. So it was very controversial. And for a short while, she basically went on a hiatus. She was not in the public eye for many years, and she had a comeback a couple of years ago at the age of 16. She then launched a more serious music career. She posted a music video at the time. At 16, she was wearing very little clothing. It seemed very adult themed.
All the backup dancers were adults. It was weird.
Yeah. There was just something off about that as well. Her whole comeback and the story of getting out of an abusive household from her father.
That was the whole thing.
Rumors swirling about what really happened.
She ended up on good terms with her mom and her brother.
Yeah.
But her dad, she cut out of her life.
Yeah. And then there was a story of her going through a life-threatening heart condition that she survived. I don't know whether to believe any of these things that she tells
And
the
she
world.
starts random beefs online.
Yeah.
Like with Bad Baby, Bahad Baby.
Right. But like fast forward nearly a decade after she comes onto the scene as this child influencer, she's now turned 18 years old. And literally the minute that she turned 18, like as soon as the clock struck midnight, she launched her OnlyFans page, which has now made over $1 million.
In just 3 hours, it did it.
In a matter of hours. She posted, "I did it. Link in bio. All content shot at 12:01 a.m. on my 18th birthday. Birthday special, only available for 24 hours. Come talk to me." And her bio on X says, "Youngest girl on OF, freshly 18. Classy." And her bio on OnlyFans says, "Freshly 18, please don't tell my mom. My 18th birthday exclusives shot at 12:01 a.m. only available for 24 hours. Come see me in my birthday suit."
Like, it's actually kind of crazy when you think about, like, the actual porn industry has, like, endless regulation and stuff in place because of legal issues. And this is just the wild, wild west of disgusting shit.
Well, I think that there was a perception that pornography pre-OnlyFans was all sanctioned, regulated content. The work of activists like Layla Mickelwaite has exposed that that's not actually the case, and their verification systems on sites like Pornhub was not reliable at all, and there were plenty of child exploitation videos that were allowed
on the sites
to be posted and stayed up.
No, yes, on the sites
even under
that
verified, so-called verified users.
on the sites that disseminate the videos. But as far as like working for the companies that produce the videos,
Yes.
there's stringent
Yes.
rules put in place to make sure that they're not liable for something that's going to get them sued and put out of business. Yet here, it's just take my word for it.
Yeah.
Take my word for it.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there was a way for somebody to go into the metadata of this stuff
Oh,
and
yeah.
find out that it's not true.
For sure, but is anyone willing to do that?
No, then you accidentally looked at it.
Yeah, you'd rather not, right? I think that this warrants some actual investigation by law enforcement, to be honest.
Like, also, if she was born at a certain time of day, doesn't that actually make her not yet
right.
18? Or am I
Right.
wrong about that?
No,
Math is hard.
You're correct that she wouldn't technically have reached the actual age of 18 yet, if it weren't shot at the exact time at which she was born on her birthday. That's kind of besides the point, though. She posted proof of her earnings in 3 hours on the site, saying, "We broke the F out of that OnlyFans record." Well, that record was originally set by Danielle Bergoli, also known as Bad Baby, the Cash Me Outside girl. And although they've had beef over the years, they're very similar people. They have very similar stories. And Danielle Bergoli was first introduced to the public when she appeared on Dr. Phil at the age of 13. And she was this foul-mouthed, misbehaved child, and Dr. Phil was enlisted to help her correct course in her life.
And if I remember correctly, you felt that Dr. Phil did more harm than good.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. By platforming this, and also by taking her mother at her word, obviously the whole thing was a fame grab, a money grab. Her mother was never interested in actually helping her, and putting her daughter at 13 years old on national television to be mocked by millions of people is going to do the exact opposite of helping her.
Did you see what she said, that a bunch of the adult agencies also hit her up as well?
The OnlyFans agencies?
No, like the actual
the,
porn companies.
I see.
She says a whole lot of agency have been hitting me up, have hit me up even before my birthday because they were like, oh God, she's going to drop the link.
Yep.
I hate it.
And that's somehow legal. Danielle Bregoli, when she turned 18 back in 2021, also launched an OnlyFans. And just 6 hours after she made her OnlyFans, she made the $1 million record, which Lil Tay just broke once again. And in both of their cases, it is highly doubtful that that content was actually produced after they were legal adults. I think it's pretty safe to assume that they were preloading that content while underage for an audience of creeps who...
Yep.
I mean, it's definitely, I would say, pedophilic in nature to be following one of these girls since the age of 9, since the age of 13, and be interested in seeing them naked and performing sexual acts the second that they turn 18. I do think that there's something extremely exploitative about that.
She goes on, they were like, we'll give you 30 to 40 million to sign with us and drop the link with us. I'm like, why would I need to do that though? I'm the bag. I don't need you to give me a bag. Don't need your petty 30 to 40 million dollars. Essentially, I guess, betting on herself to be worth more than that.
I guess she's just been playing this character of like...
For so long.
The flexor.
Yeah.
For so long that she doesn't really have an identity underneath it all.
Yeah.
And... to her, this is the natural conclusion.
I mean, it does feel like the very sad conclusion, but the very like predictable conclusion to this whole situation.
Yeah, it's disgusting, and it's yet another reason why I think there needs to be serious regulation against child influencers, because of course they're never doing this all on their own. There's always a stage parent or a manager or a sibling, whoever, an adult behind the scenes who's controlling everything and using these kids for money. Lil Tay is just one example of that. Danielle Bregoli was an example of that. There are still kid influencers or kidfluencers who are being exploited in the same way. I think it should be completely outlawed. I mean, I think this is just gotten so out of hand because it's totally decentralized, and parents also don't often assume that their kids' faces on social media are going to be used for nefarious purposes or going to be seen by creeps, but that's the reality. You know, you don't realize that those are the audiences they're getting exposed to. I follow a mom who is an influencer, a podcaster, and she made the decision to stop posting pictures of her kids' faces showing on social media because she started seeing their photos being reused, repurposed on anonymous Facebook pages that were claiming to be putting them up for adoption. They were human traffickers using her kids' photos to advertise to pedophiles.
Yeah.
This is the reality of the internet.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that I think unless you really, really kind of lean into the news, you may not understand it. Like I saw Josie posted a picture at like the American Eagle store and like covered up her feet. And I was just thinking, like, I saw somebody on Instagram the other day post a thing. It was like, we went and got pedicures. And I'm like, why would you post that?
Yeah.
Like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Like, that's like, you clearly don't spend a lot
You're
of time
either
on
like
the internet.
hopelessly naive about who that is for, or you know who it's for and you're pretending to be ignorant of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a repeating cycle that we've seen where, you know, a literal child can be raked over the coals and degraded. I think that Danielle Bregoli getting as much backlash and hate that she got when she was 13 for being this like ghetto like caricature who's like screaming on TV, I think that was outrageous. I don't think adults should ever speak about a child that way.
It's also like stories like this, and they're used to fuel the app's perception amongst people who are considering joining the platform.
Oh, for sure.
Like Sophie Rain. And,
Yes,
talking about how much money they're making on there because it tricks people into thinking that they too. And as I always say, the average OnlyFans creator is no different than your average SoundCloud rapper. They languish in mediocrity and don't make the money that these big I guess the artists are the ones on Spotify, or on SoundCloud. But the point being that they don't make the money to make it worth it. Certainly, you can make bad rap music, and that's fine. It's not going to be the end of your career. But doing this and then realizing later that it's not going to actually take care of you financially is going to be a hell of a thing to realize. And that's beyond just the moral implications of it. But when you realize that you won't have the $30 to $40 million to keep you warm at night.
Yeah.
That's a trap.
But the paycheck aside,
yeah.
I think there's no amount of money that's worth the trade-offs that they're making. Like, yeah, she made $1 million in 3 hours, whatever. Okay. That's not really the focal point for me. I think that it's just really creepy and sickening and sad that sadly, like, some people have been following this girl since she was a prepubescent child.
Yeah.
And they wanted to see her being sexually humiliated. Like, that's what they wanted. And they're getting off to that. And she's giving them exactly what they want. The language that she's using even in her OnlyFans page is selling on that point. It's selling on being a child. Don't tell my mom. That's the selling point, is like, I'm a child. Like, that's supposed to be what's so sexy and intriguing about it, is that this is a child.
Yep.
She's even going by the same name that she always went by when she was a prepubescent child, like an actual child.
Yeah.
The people who are her following this and like paying for this content and like gooning to this, human garbage.
Yeah.
Garbage. Just send them away on a pyre. Shoot them into space.
All right, let's move on.
Corn Pop said, can you guys get Ben Dykes on your show? I don't know who that is. Sorry. Greg Duvier said, can we get new IP slop? I mean, there's new IP slop.
What would you prefer?
The Zelda movie is new IP slop.
What would you prefer? And if it's not slop, what non-slop?
Do you mean new, like, original IP? And then you want it to still be slop? Because that's not going to perform well at the box office, sadly. Corey Anderson said, I think bringing Vera Dark back on would be great. It would be great.
It would be
We would
great.
love to have Vera.
We would love to have Vera back on.
Cynthia Erivo looks like an extra from the 1990s movie The Witches. Her visage turns my stomach. Yeah, I think that's intentional. The whole, like, being bald and shaving off your eyebrows and being emaciated thing. Like, it's definitely on purpose. Pat the Plumber said, could they not afford a set? It looked like they were just on a blank, like, black backdrop in that one scene.
The Cynthia Erivo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's do
Red Snow said Christians need to stand on business. Yeah, as long as standing on business means, vocally opposing something and defending the faith.
Wouldn't the idea be to make your faith seem so good that it invites people into it rather than away from it, I guess? Like,
the proper response is not going to be the Muslim response. Sorry. Like, I think that Muslims are speaking a little out of turn on social media when they tell Christians how they're supposed to respond to the persecution or disrespect of their religion. And they want to do that because, especially to an audience of young men, the framing of Islam being the strong, masculine, aggressive, militant religion, and Christianity being the weak, tolerant, liberal religion that gets stepped on. That's a very strong rhetorical framework that they've set up, but it's not based in reality. Shane H. Wilder said, God will not be mocked. I don't need to know Jesus Christ Superstar. I saw actual Jesus on Sunday with a bunch of Charlestown monks. That was better. Yeah, I don't think any of us are the types of people who would be selling out these shows, but there's definitely a niche audience for it.
Let's hold off on the rest and we will come back. Let's move on.
Okay. So I came across a thread over the weekend, started with this statement. I can't believe a guy tweeted, so many things you don't know till you get a GF. His example was, she told me I could open the window to let a breeze in. And what ensued in response was just countless examples of men who don't know basic common sense. They haven't learned basic adult functioning tasks, and they need their girlfriends to mommy them and teach them these things, and they're being called the mommy girlfriends. And these mommy girlfriends are actually charmed by the ignorance and stupidity of their boyfriends. They find it endearing that their boyfriends don't, know how to boil water, or, they don't know that you're supposed to wait for the shower to get warm before you get in it. That was one of the examples. One of them said,
he's a Chad who takes cold showers.
This is the joy of dating men. They legit don't know things. And you get to teach them shit like, you can go back to sleep if you wake up in the middle of the night. Once a man didn't know who his best friend was until I pointed it out. It's so fun.
That's BS.
To be clear,
that's a difference in classification. And the dude's like, if that's true, he's just an idiot who took what you said as true when he should know the answer himself. Or he's a dude who just doesn't think about the classification of best friend, which is also perfectly normal.
She said, to be clear, I'm not advocating for mommy girlfriends here. Not knowing how to do laundry and expecting me to do it is pathetic. Not knowing that fabric softener has a purpose and being really excited to use it once I explain it is cute. You see?
I'm going to go out on a limb. This is just me being, maybe I'm being defensive here, but I'm going to guess that about half of these are true and the other half are an exercise in creative writing.
Yeah, I mean that's a safe assumption.
And
I think
the reason why this stuff thrives online is because dudes probably don't do something like this in the same. A guy's version of this would be annoyed and in response to this, rather than starting a conversation around the idea of like, my girlfriend didn't know how to use the jack on her car.
Okay, that's actually not a good comparison, though.
I'm just saying, like, guys would not use their own version of... They wouldn't use this unless it's in response to women talking about them, because this is how people coalesce on the internet.
That's not a good comparison, because the things that these women are claiming to have taught their boyfriends are way less specialized and literally just common sense things that you wouldn't need to teach anyone. So... something about working on a car that's a skill. That's not basic common sense. If the room is hot, you can open a window and let the breeze in. Like that's not a skill.
The guy's version of this would be, she keeps trying to turn the thermostat up and I'm like, you could just put a sweatshirt on.
Okay, maybe that's a good analogy. Here is another one. Today, my boyfriend said that he was going to cook me dinner. After waiting for the frozen pizza that he decided to make for me to be completely cooked, he said, "Oh, I hate this part." Reached into the oven with his bare hands and took out the pizza while screaming.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
He doesn't know what an oven mitt is.
This is women that hate men trying to make men sound like buffoons. Yes, in the realm of the entirety of the world, it's possible that this person exists. The chances of this person existing and their girlfriend having an X account so that she can talk about it is very, very low.
Just grabbing the metal oven rack with his bare fingers.
First of all, Chad move to just train your fingers like that.
Right.
But I think she's lying.
He's built up those calluses. That's impressive.
Yes.
That's
what he's doing. You know what it is? Actually, he's a criminal, and he burns off his fingertips, his prints, so that they can't be caught at the scene of a crime.
My ex taught me that you could turn... This is from a man. Okay, so this is a self-report. My ex taught me that you could turn on the water before getting in the shower. I would just get in, turn on the water, and be miserable until it got to the right temperature for my whole life.
That was his natural male instinct to endure suffering coming out. He was doing the right thing, okay? He was saying, like, look, I'm a man. I'm expected to sacrifice and suffer for the betterment of others. I better use the shower the same way.
Okay.
Also, this happened. Like I've told this story on air before. Like my dad set back my critical thinking skills like decades because at our house, our shower was awful and was either way too hot or way too cold. There was like exactly one place,
like
the
1
knob,
millimeter,
and he marked it with a permanent marker so that you knew exactly where to put it. If he had just left it, I would probably be way smarter and not so stupid.
Right. Problem solving. Another one, this is shower related. My boyfriend didn't know you were supposed to wet your hair before you put shampoo in it until a few months ago. We've been together for 7 years.
Maybe I could believe that, maybe, but I probably don't.
Didn't know you're supposed to get your hair wet before.
Did he not have
washing
Did he
it.
not have like an adult in his life who had to bathe him as a kid, like when he was 0 to 2 years old?
I don't know what these parents are doing, but they're not teaching their sons basic facts of human life. Another one that's related to showering. There are a lot of them. She said, I slept with a guy once who insisted that his bathroom floor was soaked every time he took a shower because he was so tall. Then I took a shower at his place and he got mad at me for moving the curtain liner into the shower and getting it wet. He didn't know how curtain liners work.
I could believe that one.
Yeah.
That one I can believe.
That's just common sense.
If
That's not the same thing as changing a tire. That's not the same thing as actual skills. That's common sense.
I believe that one. I don't believe the oven one.
Okay, fair. Another one that's hygiene related. I told a grown adult man that he has to brush his tongue or use a tongue scraper when brushing his teeth to improve his oral hygiene, and he said, the tongue isn't a tooth, so what am I brushing it for?
I don't believe it. She said grown adult man to be derisive. I think it's a bullshit.
All right. Okay. Here's another one. I dated a guy once that didn't know underwear had sizes.
I don't believe it. I'm sorry. I don't believe any of this. Like
bro just doesn't buy new underwear.
Shower,
he's like using the same ratty underwear he's had for like 10 years.
The shower one I can believe. The rest of these, so far at least, I think that these are just sad, lonely, misogynist or misandrist women that are just kind of coalescing around this idea. Continue.
I had to teach my ex-boyfriend that mammals don't lay eggs. Everyone knows that. Well, except for platypi. But
what if he said that? What if he's
everyone
like,
knows
what about the platypi?
that mammals don't lay eggs. That's a very strange thing not to know as an adult. Another one said that this guy he thought men had to poop with the toilet seat up and they weren't supposed to put it down and sit on it, like that only girls were supposed to do that.
I don't believe it. I don't believe any of this.
So
I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just too proud in defending men, but I think that these women are lying.
And this one is the most telling, that this girl is clearly a misandrist who just is projecting everything onto her ex-boyfriend about men. Things I've taught exes: how to shower, how to load a dishwasher, how to floss, how to use a trash can, how to text back, how to make rice, how to stop drinking milk with spaghetti, how to apologize without blaming me, how to close cabinets, how to stop putting a wet towel on the bed, how to moisturize, how to Google things. Most of these were the same man, by the way. So you're just mad at your ex-boyfriend and you're projecting everything that was wrong with him onto men.
I don't even believe any of those are real, except for maybe the ones that just sound like the wet towel on the bed. Mm-hmm. I will say, okay, so I will let people in onto a fault of mine that I have worked to change, which is that I'm very good at I prefer to wash the dishes right after I use them rather than letting them build up. And I keep generally a very clean space. One thing I do, however, is I do have this bad habit of if I use a paper towel, I will just leave it where I used it and then forget to throw it away.
But with the stuff that you used to clean, that means the dirt or whatever it is you were wiping up is still there.
No, I will put the cleaner back, but I usually probably putting the cleaner back and then leaving the paper towel there and then forgetting to throw it away.
Okay, I remember we were talking about something similar a while back, there was this trend going around on TikTok where women would pretend that they spilled ketchup or something on a kitchen counter, and they would say like, "Hey babe, can you clean that up for me?"
Yeah, I remember that.
They would film their boyfriends or husbands attempting to clean this puddle of ketchup on the counter, and they would just take like one paper towel and they just kind of like move it around aimlessly, and like they'd be really confused why the ketchup was still on the counter.
I probably believe
They
that
would act
most of
like,
those are staged anyways.
What? How do I remove the ketchup? Like I'm just moving it around different directions. And they genuinely seemed to have no idea how to remove the ketchup from the surface that it spilled on.
In response to this, I encourage all of you, when she asks for something from when you go to get something in the fridge, find it and then ask her where it is anyways.
Just to be a menace.
Just to be a menace.
Yeah. Just to be a psychological terrorist.
Yeah, like this isn't even learned incompetence. What is it?
Weaponized incompetence.
This is actual weaponized incompetence. So know where it is, and then ask her where it is anyways. If she asks you to get something from her purse, you just get the whole purse and bring it to her. We don't have to take this bullshit lying down, fellas.
No.
You can fight back.
No.
And then when she needs something done, you pretend to not know.
Do you think that you have been taught something like very obvious by your fiance?
There's probably a couple of things. It's gonna
like
sound
something that you should have known like long
if
before.
Olivia was in the chat, she
like even if it's just a fun fact or some like random a word that you didn't know existed or something.
I guarantee you there is too, because there's definitely been a few things where she's laughed because I didn't understand something or whatever, and I probably tried to play it off.
Did she play that Chainsmokers song that literally everyone in society had heard before you? Roses by the Chainsmokers.
I don't think so.
You said that you discovered that song in 2024.
Did I?
Yeah, you were like, I'd never heard Roses by the Chainsmokers until this year. And I was like, how?
I don't know
how is that possible?
Look, the thing is what this whole thread is not underlying is that I guess no, they did. They pointed out, they said they find them endearing.
Some of the women found it endearing. Other women saw these tweets and they said, you don't have to date morons. Like, why do you romanticize the fact that your boyfriends or your ex-boyfriends are diffunctional idiots?
So one of the things that I said to Olivia, I said about the paper towel thing, was I said, yes, it's endearing now. Check back with me in 5 years and we'll see if you have the same reaction.
Or 25.
So I've tried, I've done better about remembering to put them away, because I know that what is endearing now before we get married won't necessarily be the same thing when we've been married for a little bit of time. So it's good to make those changes. Right. Therefore, you can't be like, well, you used to find it endearing. Yeah, well, once you have a couple of kids and life is really hectic and busy, she doesn't want to be picking up your paper towels.
Wise words.
Yeah. So make some changes. Maybe if she can remember, she can let me know what some of the ones are. I always forget to put the dryer sheet in. Always forget to put the dryer sheet in.
I don't use dryer sheets.
Is
that crazy? I don't use them.
I mean, I didn't either until.
Is it necessary?
It makes them smell good.
I don't know.
But yeah. Oh, and I like her, like washing clothes is a bit of a minefield for us, because I have very specific instructions about like shirts have to hang dry. Pants, certain types of pants have to hang dry. Other ones can be dried. And so it's just like, she's like, can you just do it yourself? like, can you just like, she'll put everything in, but she's like, can you put the stuff in the dryer so that I don't accidentally dry something that isn't supposed to be dried?
Well, look, I do think that there is a female equivalent to this, and it's when, there's a female equivalent to the weaponized incompetence of men, and it's the whole I'm just a girl thing. Like, I can't do this or that. I'm just a girl. Like, that's just as annoying, and stop making excuses for being a dysfunctional adult. Just do the thing you're supposed to do. Okay?
Or both sides. The thing that they're not underpinning here is that when you love someone and you care about someone, little things like this don't necessarily bother you unless it grows to be more of a problem over time.
Then you have to be honest with yourself about that happening in the future. So that you can correct it early on, like you said. Okay, let's finish up these super chats. Adam said, we pray for them and wait on God. I agree. I mean, I think that Christians have a long-term view of the world, and these people, they only think in the short term. They only think about temporary gratification and proving a point, and we believe that justice is in God's hand. Greg Juvier said, when did Gollum get race and gender swapped? Where have you been? It's been a while now. Pop Culture Junkie said, there will always be audiences for superhero films. Studios should tighten budgets and expect smaller box office totals. AI will reduce EFX costs. Do you agree that if they're going to continue making superhero films, it just needs to be lower budget?
Yeah, I do. And less TV shows so that it feels more special when they come out. NV101, I'm sorry, I don't know how to say that, said correct/original term is Gen Y, not millennials. Millennials was invented because XYZ wasn't divisive enough. You are not immune to propaganda. Yeah, I'm just going to keep saying millennial because nobody says Gen Y.
No one says Gen Y. Also, the term millennial isn't inherently derogatory. So,
if anything, I imagine Gen Z is considered more derogatory, and boomer.
Like, all of them are used in a derogatory way sometimes, but it's not actually a slur. Greg Duvier said the Book of Revelations movie I would watch. That would be difficult. I don't know if I really want to trust anyone to do that. Adam said, Mary, don't fall for this scam of Japanese girl. Well, I don't think I'm at risk of falling for this scam. Something wrong?
No, I asked Olivia. I was like,
does she have any examples?
She hasn't responded yet. I was just see that's me just curiously just blocking out all of my quirks.
Pop Culture Junkie said, Office Lady, PSYOP alarm, ding, 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 ding. Yeah, we're just letting you guys know ahead of time so that you don't fall for her tricks. Adam said, Brett, make poll, Sydney or office worker.
We'll do that tomorrow.
Well, they're not. I don't know if they're gonna remember Office Lady by then. It's definitely Sydney Sweeney though. Red Snow said, "Never trust the Asian spy lady."
I know.
I'm telling you.
Look at that. Like, I saw that lady's face and I was like, Eric Swalwell better just run the other direction.
Absolutely. Corey Anderson said, "What is worse, Jesus Christ Superstar or The Last Temptation of Christ? I say the musical because of the music." I'm not familiar with the latter example, so I'm not sure.
I asked Olivia. She said, "I guess she didn't really have anything." She says, "I guess you're very particular about how you do things. You're very routine based." She also said, "The wedding stuff has been a lot of me teaching you." I was like, "Well, yeah, I'm a dude. If I came in there and I was like Jennifer Lopez in the was that her in the wedding? No, that was Made in Manhattan. Whoever that was in the wedding planner, and I knew everything about it. That'd have been weird."
This feels like an imbalanced power dynamic. You have one person who's texting, and then you get to clap back on a podcast.
I mean, I do that with people in the chat too. I mean,
well, it's fortunately both of your first times getting married.
Yes,
and the last.
Yeah.
Corey Anderson said, "From this moment forward, we shall not disparage Miss Sweeney's character. LOL, she is awesome." Based, confirmed?
I think that the greatest explanation as to why she's so endearing was in the video of her shooting the guns. And it wasn't her shooting the gun itself. It was the giggling after shooting the gun.
Just somebody who's capable of having fun?
Yeah, kind of. And it's like, look, when I see conservative women shooting guns, it just reeks of
where they're like,
propaganda.
I'm a badass.
Like it's
take me seriously, world. Like,
it reeks of being part of the industry. Like, I feel like you become a right-wing influencer and all of a sudden you're like, gotta go do the gun shoot.
Yeah, the gun photo shoots are quite the eye roll. Thank you, guys. Adam said, "What if that was the reason she broke up with her ex? Anyways, proud that she registered as a Republican." I'm not, because there's nothing to be proud of in the Republican Party. But I don't think this makes her
Thank you.
based. There's nothing based about the Republican Party or, the political establishment on either side. And I don't know if we should assume that's why she broke up with her ex. I mean, if I had to guess, that I would say her ex is probably also right-leaning because he's a businessman.
He's a business guy, right?
Not from the Hollywood sphere.
He wants lower taxes, and he wants his company to be able to, buy out other companies and not have interference from the FCC.
Yeah. Shane H. Wilder said it's always a Chesterton quote. He's always right. Even when it's not a Chesterton quote, it's always a Chesterton quote. Grunmeister, already read that one. Shane H. Wilder said, remember, even if she's a registered Republican, that doesn't make her a conservative. Conservative women don't get their tits out on camera.
I mean, I think that's the big part of all of this stuff is like, there's this divide now where because of where I work, I would be labeled as like a conservative, and everybody
worse
or worse, and everybody knows that's not true. I saw people in the chat saying that I was simping for the Democrats earlier and afraid of the left. So it's like, what is like, the labels are unhelpful anyways. They're a byproduct of what we do because you have to kind of give everything a name. But it's not like it's all accurate. Again, Sydney Sweeney can be registered as a Republican all she wants. I doubt anybody that's an actual conservative would consider, what she does conservative. But that's what happens when you have what they call big tent politics, because the right is no longer a conservative movement. It's an amorphous
catch-all for everyone.
It's an amorphous blob that consists of everyone who isn't insane and racist against white people, I guess.
Right. I also think it's like, ironically, at this point, conservative is an outdated term. Yeah, there needs to be something new.
What would you replace it with?
I don't even know. I mean, I think maybe labels entirely are outdated.
It's only going to get worse though as we enter the internet, as you spend more of your conversation online. It's so funny. I watch old movies and television shows that carry a lot, and I don't have any examples off the top of my head. But they talk about all the same stuff we talk about now. But because they were written at a time before everyone was online, there's less buzzwords. Yeah. Therefore, the propaganda goes down easier.
Well, you have to categorize people not to describe yourself, but to describe the people that you're fighting with in a derogatory way. Brian Bledsoe said, I'm a black Republican and I'm registered in Texas just for the look on Democrats' face when I go to vote Republican in the primaries.
That's because they're kind of in their own world, and they have been propagandized to this extent that they find it hard to believe that there are people that aren't Nazis that vote Republican, which should kind of call into question their ability to understand numbers and statistics. Because if you actually believe that I don't know how many registered Republicans there are in the country, but that 70 million people or however many vote that way, you've been isolated so far. And that doesn't happen as much to the people on the right because they don't have views that fall in line with the dominant views of the culture. They're kind of always forced to draw back and take a different perspective because their views are always being challenged.
Just don't let any of this hullabaloo distract you from the fact that Republicans suck.
Oh, Olivia says she sent me more. Hold on. I'm in the chat.
There are examples?
Yeah. I mean, these aren't really this. She says, not saying that.
She teach you to boil water?
No, she did not teach me how to boil water. I've submitted to the fact that the toilet seat will always be up.
You've broken her spirit.
Damn. That's right. And I'm not going to apologize.
You just exposed yourself.
Yeah. Well, I'm operating in good faith here. I'm reading what she said. She says, "Oh, and you refuse to do the cat's wet food unless I'm really sick, and you won't do the cat boxes." Yeah, they're not my cats.
The wet food is truly
disgusting.
It smells disgusting. It looks disgusting.
I will do it if she's not feeling well. I will do it. But mainly I'm in charge of Toast's food, and Toast doesn't eat wet food. We only give Toast dry food. You prefer to sit up in bed and watch TV, and I think that would be true even if we had a better couch. No, we just need a good couch. Like our couch is actually like what could be used as some type of CIA torture weapon.
Yeah. Skateman 2010 said, thanks to Brett, I started listening to Sleep Token. Mary is a hater. You bet I am.
Mary's like, and I will never stop.
I see people wearing Sleep Token merch. I'm like, disgusting. Shane H. Wilder said, sometimes when I hear the stories like Lil Tay, I think the internet was a mistake. We went wrong somewhere along the way.
Yeah.
The internet wasn't a mistake. It was very purposeful, but it was very evil.
So, oh, by the way, the toilet seat for women, never fall for that trap when they're like, how hard is it to put the toilet seat down? You say, yeah, how hard is it to put the toilet seat down? If your complaint is that it's so easy, you should just do it. It's so easy, you should just do it and not complain.
But then, like, who relents is the question. Why?
No, the point is they're always mad because like it's just so easy. It's so courteous.
Well,
and easy.
I know, but then it's like, if it's easy for both of you, why don't you do it? You know, like
and then you throw that back at her. You go,
that could just go forever,
and then you just go back and forth until the argument dries up.
But in that case, like, then who does it?
Well,
then it always ends with the woman doing it.
The point is that men only have to do
I've
it
never
part
lived
of the
with a man,
time.
so I don't know about this stuff. Like, okay, but I just think, like, you should probably do it because, like, touching a toilet is icky and, like, men should do icky stuff, right? It seems like a good enough reason to me.
You're touching it either way, just not with your hands.
Yeah, with your hands. That's icky. Corey Anderson said, why would you need a breeze if you have AC? I guess that's just for the British folk.
Yeah.
They need that advice. Shane H. Wilder said, guys, you can know how to do laundry, dishes, and how to cook. I mean, how you gonna woo your GF with a home-cooked meal if you can't cook? You woo her by grabbing the oven rack with your bare hands because it's Chad and Alpha.
To prove that if she was stuck in a fire, he
Yes.
will go through the fiery pits
Exactly.
to rescue her.
Yeah, that's a huge turn on for all women. Shane H. Wilder said, I will say that some of these are definitely cap. And if you use fabric softener, you don't need a dryer sheet. I don't think you need either one. But if we asked Alex Clark, I mean, I'm sure she would have a lot to say about fabric softener. She would be extremely horrified to find out that people still use fabric softener.
There's dyes in them that are
dyes
slowly
and
leaching your life force out.
Words that I can't pronounce, probably. No Control said, the weaponized incompetence annoys me when people claim a learned skill is just talent versus hours of practice.
Can you give me an example of what you mean by that?
Like working on a car takes practice. It's not something you're born knowing how to do, I guess. Red Snow said, is saying you don't know how to make a sandwich weaponized incompetence? I used to cook all the food for me and my ex. I think if you end up in a situation like that where like one person refuses to ever make food, like shouldn't you guys both just be responsible for yourselves at that point?
You should be able to, like, one of the hallmarks of being able to finally get into like a healthy relationship is that you've learned enough about life to be able to live healthily on your own.
Well,
therefore you can
hope
be
that.
Yes, yeah.
But some people just live on DoorDash and they Klarna everything.
I'm not even just talking about that. I'm saying in general, you should have enough skills and you should complement each other. Like, is it as big of an issue if two people who are inherently messy live together? I suppose not, if they both, thrive on living in chaos, even if you might critique them and say, maybe it would be healthier for you or better for you if you didn't live that way. Like my home, like our home space is pretty just so because we're both pretty routine oriented. But that doesn't mean that we're like obsessively cleaning the countertops to make sure, because that's what it always gets devolved into because, no offense, ladies, but they will take this to the logical conclusion that you need a perfect home, that has to look like a catalog. Well, no, but, picking up after yourself is important. And so then they draw the conclusion like the man will just leave everything around and expect everything to be picked up around them. Well, then maybe that's not the right fit for you. If that bothers you so much that you can't handle doing that, then you make the value judgment. Is what this guy provides in the relationship enough to overlook the fact that he's kind of inherently messy because they're conflicting personalities.
Men are inherently messy in general. They are, for the most part. Very few exceptions.
I mean, I disagree.
Their brains aren't wired the way that women's brains are wired. Women are the reason why they're so neurotic about needing to live in like a very clean and like just so space is because the environment has a very profound effect on like the stress levels of women. And like also men literally like are not wired to perceive stationary objects the way that women are, because their brains are wired to hunt, and like they only really perceive in the forefront of their mind things that are moving. They don't actually perceive like stationary objects the way that women do. So they don't see messes as clearly as women see them.
Or they just don't care, I guess. It's not that they don't see it. They're like...
No, they don't. I mean that they don't, like, they see it. Like, they see the same thing that everyone sees. But they don't perceive it. It's not in the forefront of their mind because they're not wired to...
I was thinking more of that back to the
notice
fridge,
stationary
thing
objects.
when she asked you. Have you ever seen the comedy skits where it says, like, when my wife asks me, when I tell my wife that that what she asked for in the fridge isn't there, and he's sweating profusely as she comes around the corner? Or... when the guy, when the wife's like, it's time for bed, and they start throwing 37 pillows off the bed to get into the bed, because no guy would ever do that because it's insane. Like there's, I think it was an Adam W skit where he throws off 10 pillows. He looks back up and there's 10 more back on the bed, and the pillows get progressively bigger.
I have 3 pillows. I think that's a very normal amount.
That's a pretty normal amount.
Yeah.
I use...
I'm not going overboard with it.
Yeah.
Shane H. Wilder said the last temptation of Christ is worse. It has Jesus getting off the cross and marrying Mary Magdalene. It is condemned by the Catholic Church. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought that was what was it called? The Da Vinci Code or something?
Yeah, with
I thought that was that, but I don't know. Jewish AF of Christendom said, what we need is a good old-fashioned crusade. All right, you're being a little Fed posty right now. No Control said, put seat down and close the lid. Closing the lid is the most hygienic thing to do.
That, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to do that because Chloe likes to drink out of the toilet bowl.
Gross.
I know.
Chloe's just
Chloe is
disgusting.
nasty.
Red Snow said, my mom fell in the toilet once the seat stays down. Okay, sorry that happened to your mom. I'm sorry for laughing. The Manic Mustache said, how hard is it to put the toilet seat up?
Yeah, that's what you say to her. Say, oh, when you're done, how hard is it to put the toilet seat up?
Well, I guess you're supposed to close it every time, apparently. Adam said, do you guys make your bed?
I am particular about making the bed.
Because of Jordan Peterson, or just because it's like...
Just because. So, well, to Olivia's point that I prefer to watch TV on the bed rather than in the living room, like, I'm not going to be under the covers. You want to be on top of the bed. Therefore, the bed should be made. Mm-hmm. Oftentimes, I wouldn't make it right when I got up. I'd make it when I got home from work so that it was there for the rest of the night until I went to bed.
I guess I don't go to extremes with it, but I do, like, rearrange it a little bit. Like, yeah. I don't make
with your
the bed.
With your 37 pillows.
I don't make the bed. I just like make it look slightly nicer than everything being thrown on there, if that makes sense. Shane H. Wilder said, I have lost my rosary before it was in my hand. It's like when you lose your glasses on your shirt.
Yeah,
or something.
Do you ever, does that, oh, you don't wear glasses. Well, you do, but you wear contacts, right?
I have glasses. I haven't worn them in ages.
All right. Before we get to the last one, Astronaut Farmer says, Mary, say platypus again.
I said platypi. That's the plural, right?
Is that? I have no idea.
The plural of platypus?
The local Wendigo says, it's not a PSYOP. Well, he said PSYOP. It's porn addicts that think that the ugly thing is pretty. What? I don't know. He's got a couple more here. The local Wendigo says, I honestly don't understand how people find the bug looking the attractive.
I don't know what that
I think he meant like that bug looking thing. I don't know what he's talking about.
The Japanese lady?
And then he also says, the Japanese lady is Photoshop and I hate her. I've seen only gooner porn accounts posting her and she's not even remotely attractive. It's annoying as F and I'm going to start... I can't say that last part.
Okay.
Calls for violence. Well, I guess not calls for violence, but implications of violence. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's that deep. But maybe that was the PSYOP all along.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen the content that you're talking about. Maybe you need to fix your algorithm. Corey Anderson said, but how many stuffed animals, Mary? I have 1 Squishmallow in my bed. 1.
There you go.
I'm keeping it at 1 because I have self-respect.
All right.
Okay, that's all the super chats.
All right, guys, before we go, hit the like button on this video as always and subscribe to the channel if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. Remember to share the content out with everybody that you know. I didn't mention this earlier, but you should be sharing the episodes and the segments on the internet.
Or else you hate us.
And if you hate us, and then what I want you to do is after you share it, you should argue with people in the comments section. All right.
You guys can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived. And help me get TikTok famous. That is also Mary Archived.
All right. If you guys want to follow me, I'm on Instagram and on X at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. I've actually started doing some, I guess, not bonus content. It's not like it's bonus to anything, but I've been putting out some videos just talking about some things that just didn't seem like they were a good fit for this channel, making content at home. So if you guys want to follow me again, Instagram and X at Brett Dasovic. On X is where I'm posting those. I'm going to try to do them every, I wanted to shoot for one a day, but I'll probably shoot for a couple a week. You know, whenever something strikes my fancy, you should go follow me over there. Remember, this show is here normally 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, of course, noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than watch the show, you can rate and review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And if you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twix at popculture_show, Facebook at popculturecrisis, Instagram at popculturecrisisPod. Guys, remember also...
One more.
No, but before we get to that, we will be off air on Thursday and Friday this week. We are both going to be out of town. I'm going to be out of town getting my marriage license, which I'm very excited about. So just remember, no show this Thursday and Friday. I'll be making sure to putting out clips that'll be coming out all throughout the week. So it would be great if you could go and check those out and help support the channel. But yes, one more there.
From Shane H. Wilder, make the bed and put the pillows in the dryer for 10 minutes to fluff them up. Life hack. Thank you for that.
All right. My boyfriend didn't know that he could put his pillows in the dryer to fluff them up before bed. He's such an idiot. Exactly. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we will be back with another episode tomorrow. See you then.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.